And now with pleasure we're moving to Anna Aliabieva presentation, Universal Stereophotogrammetric Model for Urban Management. Hello everyone. Welcome participants of the conference on behalf of the Ural-Siberian Geo-Information company. It is a private company located in Ural, Yekaterinburg to be exact. Our specialization plus is what? Okay. So our specialization is photogrammetric processing of aerial and space imagery and geo-information product generation. Most of the tasks of municipal management in cities and other residential areas is done based on the spatial information on the location, 10 to 20 centimeter resolution, 15 to 20 centimeter resolution in altitude, in height. So it would be good to have multifunctional information, not costly and upgradable. Traditionally, such information was gathered by field methods, but modern challenges of big data, as well as the development of technical capacities, allow us to apply for generation of such data stereophotographic methods. A good example of application of such method is the cadastre projects and stereo models that Konstantin spoke about before me. Still, until recently, it was believed that photogrammetric projects could be done only by professionals, and users are using the ready-to-use mapping products for the whole area of their operations. And indeed, before the digital photogrammetry advance was only like this. But now when in Geo-Information system we have employed people from remotest areas, it became possible to use photogrammetric programs. GosGeek now has put an idea in practice. Instead of maps, deliver software and hardware complexes along with stereo models of the area so that the users could generate the spatial data they need. At the same time, the aerial photography and photo triangulation and imaging is done by professional specialists of our company. The use of high-precision stereo models for the tasks of territorial management in cities allows us to achieve in-camera visual 3D information about the location locally upon need. We're talking about high-precision stereo models because the measurement locally with a planned precision of 10 centimeters is the best result for photogrammetric method. In the conditions when the city is developing dynamically, cartographic material or mapping materials sometimes become obsolete very soon, and with the financial constraints, the application of stereophotographic method on the working stations of municipal employees has become more efficient, and they have additional opportunities. 3D visualization of the area, managerial decision-making based on what they see, 3D measurement and capturing of images of separate objects or locations upon need and independent of the time of the year, topographic and monitoring of the area. Since 2016, we've been supplying high-precision 3D images for municipalities and different educational facilities. Standard package includes orthophotos of 1 to 2,000 as an overview material for GIS, photomod, core, and stereo draw, equalized photogrammetric project in the format of digital photogrammetric workstation, stereo monitors SM1 of our own making and design, and training of users to work with photomod and the basic stereo measurement. This idea would be impossible to implement without the Rockers company. I would like to use this opportunity to extend our words of gratitude to the team of Rockers for the long-term cooperation on dealer supplies, on the high quality of tech support, and the kindly attitude of the administration. Aside from the work with some stereo models, it has always been tempting for us to get the 3D model of the area of our interest without losing the precision. At our institute, we have registered a new product called InSOT. InSOT can ensure 3D visualization of seamless territory based on aerial photography, 3D visualization of vectorized data and objects, support of 3 modes of stereo visualization, measurement based on 3D models. A single 3D model of the city allows us to first observe the general 3D landscape of the area and do the high precision measurement on ground. Its update requires much less time and much less labor intensive than updating of topographic plans and other geoinformational products. The single stereophotographic model is done upon the request from municipalities additionally to the standard package of stereo models. At the moment, it is already in use by some cities of Bashkortostan, Sverdlovsk and Kaliningradsk regions, including regional centers. Application of such a resource allows us to update the urban development documents, do the control and permitting functions of local administration, get information about the urban infrastructure objects at any time of the year. In the Ural region, it became of interest to design organizations, metallurgical companies, and telecom operators. A number of tasks solved with this 3D stereo models is growing based on the higher skills of how to process it. For instance, in Ekaterinburg, the users of spatial data at the regional conference of Photomod managed to name no more than 10 people who could use stereophotogrammetric method. Now, our customers can enumerate many more tasks that they can do locally on their workstation, starting from the emergency management and ending with a measurement of the length of power lines, starting from the approval of the linear objects and development of insulation in the residential area and location of places for promotional boards. And these are some of the examples from the real projects done upon the stereo models. The development of urban development zoning maps, state land supervision, creation of local topography for the formation of an urban plot plan, establishment of zones with special conditions, use of territory, monitoring compliance with environmental legislation, creating 3D models for 3D design. The best confirmation of the prospects of the use of photogrammetric 3D model would be the new competitions or for its supply, but it's not everything as good as it sounds. For the high precision 3D models, now we have much stricter requirements for aerial photography and geodesy work, which must be confirmed by documents. In the lack of the modern technological standards in the industry, sometimes a problem could be the obsolete requirements of technical regulations which are 20 and sometimes 30 years old. Upon the request from USGIK, the development of the national standard for the high precision photogrammetric work was included into the National Plan of Standardization for 2019. Our team of developers includes also professionals from the Siberian Institute, University NITP, Rakurs, Omsk Agrarian University, and many people concerned have also helped us a lot in terms of advice, mostly advice and consultations. In our harsh fights with the opponents, we've had a lot of infighting with opponents. We have reduced the length of the text and changed the title twice. At the moment, we have done the main drafting and we sent the draft for the final proofreading, but ahead of us is the unpredictable voting in the geographical committee. And we hope that the approval of the standard will contribute to the broadening of the application fields of the stereo modeling. In conclusion, perhaps you'll find it interesting to learn that Ural and Siberian Geo-Information company is doing not only production. In September this year, our representative visited the Elbrus Peak. And here we're supposed to have a video now. I cannot seem not to be able to upload it. Anyway, unfortunately, I cannot show you the video. No video for you. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Will there be questions for the speaker? Colleagues? Can I ask you a question? You were talking about aerial photography for 3D photographic models. What kind of aerial photography? Professional, from piloted aircraft, or UAVs? Different, depending on the sites. It largely depends on the size of the area that needs to be photographed. So depending on the actual project, we have 3 types of image captures. All these 3 types are used, both copters and UAVs, geoscan UAVs, and large aircraft. What about operators? Aren't they complaining about the quality of UAVs and the professional aircraft? They cannot complain. They simply have to redo something if it is no good. Okay, you also have mentioned, and Victor Adrov wants to ask a question, right? Okay, I will continue then. You have also mentioned that the stereophotogrammetric model can be uploaded with vectorized data. Yes. That's what the developers shared with me. Then it's not the question for you. Can those vectorized data be rectified in the stereophotogrammetric model and then sent back again? I don't think they can be rectified or corrected there because the editorial functions so far are not embedded into the system, although initially this single photogrammetric model program has been in development for 3 years, and the initial wish was to simply make a visualizer, a seamless visualizer. But gradually our wishes were growing. Now we have added measurement functions, we have added the ready-to-use 3D models, and I do not exclude a situation when we'll approach editing and export as well, right? People are saying that video can be shown. We can show the video. Okay. Here. Yes. Sorry, I'm still going to show this video to you, how we conquered Elbrus Peak. Thank you. The well-known southern peak. Can I ask you a question? Just one comment. The conqueror of Elbrus, our representative, is not really a mountain climber. He's not a tourist. He's never been to any mountains before. But he's an athlete. He's a wrestler. He's a deputy director of a company. But he decided to do that. He decided to conquer that peak, and our girls prepared a flag for him. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Sorry for putting you down to the ground from this highest peak, but there are many discussions that I personally was involved in, and perhaps you were part of that, about stereo versus non-stereo. Once there was an opinion that stereophotogrammetry and stereo visualization is a dead thing. Now everything is done in automatically. At the most recent conference, InterGeo, we were actively communicating with colleagues from Eurosense. Eurosense, you know, this is a Belgian company, having companies in every country of the world. They said that now most of the projects that they do are related to stereo vectorization. So in this case, you were talking about the distribution of stereo methods, also in organizations which in fact are not professional stereophotogrammetrists and also stereo visualizers. Even when you supply your systems to municipalities or directly to, say, state officials. So in that regard, how do you think? Again, for me it sounded strange. Not all the people can see stereo. How non-professionals can use stereo, because that if you put it up a guy in the municipality to view it, and if they move it in third coordinates, do you feel the lack of professionals, or even a person without any education, can you teach them to punch a couple of buttons? Can they work in stereo? Do you think that new approaches are needed, because I believe that stereo is greatly restricted by the qualification of people, or you disagree? See, within those boundaries that we suggest to use the stereo model locally, it's not like they're not totally they're totally lay persons who are going to do that. And as a person who is doing the last part in our standard supply, I mean training of users.
I can say that, of course, we check the acuteness of stereo eyesight of the trainees. The training takes up to 5 days, the basic training, out of which 2.5 days are dedicated to core and stereo draw. So people are learning to use the buttons, to put it simply. In the other times, we do all the other stuff to set a mark, as you say. Then we determine the point heights, and then we do interpretation or decoding. They are more interested in spatial configuration of points. They're interested in the real representation. The vector 3D model, even if it's texturized, will still contain a limited set of numbers, which was part of the original brief. The stereo model contains everything. Something that is easy to read, or something of poor quality maybe, but then maybe as the last minute you need to do measurements, that stereo model comes very handy. So our job is to train them to see, to discern different objects, measure those, and I believe 5 days is sufficient. No complaints thus far. In fact, a range of tasks is wide, but there are just as many key principles at the heart of it. Thank you.